Hi guys, now that I'm out and about, I just thought I'd make a video. Hangover starting to fade. Just want to talk about the interprovincial games at the weekend. Watched a little bit of the South African games, but I think South African teams are better to watch when they're playing a team from another country, and all the way they have all that bulk and size. Now, I will say the Sharks against the Bulls was more entertaining than the Stormers and the Lions. Two good teams going at it, a really exciting backline. Andre Esterhuizen looks like he's such a good player, really hard to stop. I know it's going to be controversial, but I would pick him. See, it's a hard one to say, isn't it? The Alande and Kriel work so well as a partnership, so maybe not. But I just don't know how you stop Esterhuizen. It's such a good weapon to have when he crashes the ball up at 12. It's a sight to behold, and then you think your man, I know his second name is Julius Julius, is it? But he's very quick and surprisingly strong at 13. I know they can play him on the wing as well. I think him and Esterhuizen are a great combination. But definitely one for the future. It just shows you the depth South Africa have. But what I want to touch on is the Irish teams, of course, because I'm Irish and those are my teams. And Mac Hansen made an interesting speech. I don't know if any of you saw it, but I think he's got a point. You could say sour grapes, I understand that. And look, I'm willing to kind of go, Connaught could have won that game. Leinster were poor. Let's call it what it is. They should have put that game to bed, but they let Connaught back into it. And Connaught, to be fair to them, looked good. Players I was particularly impressed with from Connaught were Shane Jennings, not the open side flanker, but the red-headed winger. I know he got a yellow card, and that was stupid. When I saw it, I thought to myself, he knew what he was doing. He took Luke McGrath out, and that was definitely a yellow card in my opinion. But then that clear out by Geordie Barrett and Bundy Aki, and Bundy Aki's been someone who has been penalised for that. I don't know if you remember his clear out against the Stormers on Siabalo Sanatla for the Stormers. But he came in, like a missile and just cleared him out. Made head contact. In my eyes, there was no question it was a red card. There was a lot of force. In fairness to Sanatla, he bounced straight back up. Didn't complain, even though it was a very bad clear out. But to be fair, Bundy asked the question afterwards. He said, how am I supposed to clean him? And now, I would have said before crocodile roll, but they're after getting rid of that now. And Tom O'Toole got a red card at the weekend. Now, the Scott Cummins one, I know I've shot all over Scotland a little bit in this, but that's just a friendly rivalry. Scots are good people. I'm a big fan of theirs. They're always a good laugh. So I don't hate Scottish people. Just think the rugby team, especially with the likes of Stuart Hogg and Finn Russell, can be a bit arrogant, and I think everyone will agree with me on that. I've even met Scottish rugby fans who've said, we're shit. I don't think they're shit, but I think they definitely need to prove themselves this Six Nations, just saying. But I'm going to give them a little bit of credit here. Scott Cummins got a red card for a clear out on Franco Mostert that I couldn't even tell what he was being penalised for, because I used to croc roll people all the time. Now, I never went for the leg. That's the one thing. I used to get them around the torso, and I was there wondering, is that still allowed? When you literally you're rolling a crocodile. You ever watch Steve Irwin? But you'd get them under the belly and you flip them over. I think it should be outlawed going for the legs, but they've said it's outlawed even just getting them under the torso. And you're there going, how the fuck do you clear anyone out then? You're not allowed to make head contact, which is very hard to do. If someone gets over the ball in a strong position, and I've been pinged for it myself, so you can imagine now with the rules as strict as they are, at amateur level too, it's ridiculous. The breakdown is just something that's very messy, and referees often are backs, so they don't really understand what it's like being at the breakdown, because usually us forwards are so fucked by the time we get to a certain age that we can't even walk, never mind run around the pitch reffing. But yeah, Tom O'Toole came down hard on Alex Nankiville's leg, and I thought, yeah, that was very, very dodgy. I thought he'll be lucky to get away with this. Under the new rules, you kind of think to yourself, was he trying to injure him? No, I don't think he was. And he had a good game, in fairness to him. No, I kind of gave him a hard time too, but that's because he's not a loose head. He's a tight head prop. That's not his fault. They just said he had a howler against Fiji purely because he's not familiar with the position. And I'm not saying that to have a go with him. I'm saying it because we need more depth. We've players who play loose head. Tom O'Toole's a tight head, so let's leave him at tight head and start bringing through all the good loose heads. So we've got them. Michael Milne. We also have, of course, Jeremy Lockman. Now, neither of them are Andrew Porter, but I mean, that's hard. That's impossible. Have to say, I wasn't overly impressed with Jack Boyle. I've been singing his praises, but I thought he was lucky not to get pinged at the scrum a bit more often. I need to learn just to wind my neck in a lot of the times. I bite too easily, but I definitely thought he was lucky to get away with it. And I saw some fans saying it in the comments section. Now, I brought up the point that Bundy Aki had a clear head contact was made by Geordie Barrett and Bundy Aki, and they didn't even check it, whereas there wasn't even that much. It was a penalty against Josh Ioane. I think it was Josh Ioane on Gus McCarthy from minimal head-to-head contact, very minimal. Whereas there was a good bit of force. Now, Bundy Aki's a very strong man. He's Samoan, so he's got Samoan genetics. They're tough fuckers. They can take a lot. And I think the fact a lot of times the players don't go down diving like they do in football works against them. And we're starting to see it creeping in, which I think is a load of bollocks. Cut that shit out. That Cheslin Colby dive for that Kieran Frawley drop goal was pathetic, And for South African fans to argue with me on that and to say he was clearly tripped or pushed, I was like, no, he wasn't. Get over yourself. He's a strong man. I know he's a small man, but he's tough, he's strong. It's not as if he hasn't done it before. Do you remember Mako van der Poel held him up and said, don't do that again? That was funny. And he shat himself and was like, okay. He wasn't arguing with Mako because he knew he was diving. And Brian Habana has done it before, where he threw his head back. I was there going, geez, that was terrible by Owen Farrell, but it was clearly a dive when you look at the replay. He should have gotten a sanction for that because that was disgraceful from Brian Habana. Farrell barely even touched him. But it was very convincing. But that shit needs to be stamped out anyway. I think the fact that Aki took that hit and didn't seem injured meant that nothing was done about it. Now, Egg Chasers, Tim from Egg Chasers made a really good point. I kind of didn't like it because it was done to an Irish player. When Jack Crowley had head contact made with him against Argentina by, was it Matthias Moroni, the Argentine centre? I think it was. But did he make a meal of it? Maybe he did, yeah. I'm willing to accept that he could have made a meal out of it. But there was head contact, and if you don't go down, you don't get anything. Personally, after he scored that try, I thought he should have gone off for a HIA, but let's not worry about that. That's dead and buried. That clear out definitely warranted another look, and I can see Mac Hansen's frustration. It's fair. It's definitely fair. Leinster do get the rub of the green, there's no denying it. But I don't think it's the reason Connaught lost. I think Connaught could have won that game had they been more clinical. And Cathal Ford, a player whose praises I've been singing. Now, I know he's not the fly half, but he missed a kick that I would have expected him to get because he's a good player. And I know he's not a fly half, but he is a decent enough kicker, as a second choice at least. Had he gotten that kick, it would have put them within 3 points of Leinster, and you think to yourself, they got into the territory, they could have taken those points. Just kind of touch on the players I thought stood out for the Leinster v Connaught game. So Shane Jennings, as I spoke about on the left wing for Connaught, was very good, very impressed with him. I thought Bundy had a solid game like he always does. I thought Cathal Ford had one of his more quiet games, still decent, not bad, just not one of his more exciting games, as I say. Mac Hansen did alright, not too bad. I think Leinster were doing well though, defending him. They flooded that channel every time they could just to stop him from making any yards, so I thought that was clever on their part. That was just good defending, so that was wise. I also thought that they did a very good job in the centres. I thought Leinster won that battle, but to be fair, but Geordie Barrett there and Tector, like Charlie Tector had a great game, really good game. I've been impressed with him when I've watched him. He's a very good player. Saw him against Edinburgh, and I thought this lad's a good player. Yeah, he's very skillful. Kilkenny man, I think, as well. The rivals to Wexford, but we'll let that one go. See, it's funny because I wouldn't have given Geordie Barrett man the match in that game. I would have given it to him against Claremont. And I thought he had a great game at fullback. I don't know what people are saying when they go, he's not a fullback. I thought he covered the ground effortlessly. He was so good. Like a fullback should. He was everywhere at once. They tried Jimmy O'Brien out there, so that's fair enough. Just thinking again, who was on the left wing for Leinster? I'm just trying to remember. So, jeez, I can't remember who was on the left wing. I know your man Oitzo King was on the right wing. Yeah, Jesus. Anyway, Ross Byrne kind of had a Ross Byrne game. You know, never the most exciting. Mostly reliable, that's what you'd say about him, but sometimes not. Don't know, the Byrne brothers have come under a lot of scrutiny. Being a Byrne myself, I don't want to shit all over the family name. I'm not related to them, by the way, not that I know of. Thought Scott Penny has actually gone very quiet, and I was really impressed with him at first. I thought he's a really good player, you know, he was scoring tries for fun. But yeah, he... don't know what's happened with them. It's just gone a bit quiet, hasn't he? It's interesting. Oh, sorry, Jesus, how could I forget who was on the left wing? I was going to sing his praises and all. Andrew Osborne, who had a very good game. How the hell did I forget that? Sorry, guys. I was out drinking last night, so my memory's a little slow. Andrew Osborne had a brilliant game. Jesus, I was there thinking, well, if I couldn't remember them, they probably didn't have that good a game. No, I'm just a bit sloshed from last night. I don't drink that often anymore.